Hi there, so in today's video we're going to use these three beautiful lotus flower themed molds. Now we bought these recently from Temu. They're part of our Temu haul video which premiered about 2 or 3 days ago. If you haven't seen it, then check out our playlist and you'll be able to see it. So we did give a sneaky preview at the end of that video as to what these look like. Also using some fantastic Let's Resin mica powders and a selection of colours. I've turned the first mould inside out, the pot part of it. And as you can see here, this bit's all been sped up so you don't sit for 20 minutes watching me brush mica powder onto moulds. But using the same technique that we've always used, and if you haven't seen that before, why not check out some of our other videos. Using a dry bristled paintbrush, just regular artist brush, or you can use a makeup brush, and just dipping it into the mica powder, tapping off the excess and then applying it to the mould, just brushing it on and then giving it a really good burnish, and then you end up with something like this. I love the ombre style, the green, the beautiful pearlized look of it. So just turning it back inside out again. Make sure you do just tap out or tap the mould the other way up, pop it down on your surface, kitchen towel or something, give it a light tap. It will get rid of any loose mica powder that's still sort of within your mould there. But that is stunning. So now we have the lid. There we are. Look, this shouldn't take long at all. As I said, bits of this video in its entirety have been sped up. There's some repetition where we do the same effect on each of the three of these beautiful molds, applying the mica powders, burnishing them on, tapping out the excess and so on, and then just showing you what they look like before we then move on to the next step. There we are. Just make sure you've got a good, really good coverage of all the surface of the mould. Of course, you don't have to dust your moulds with mica powder if you don't want to. You can use a solid colour resin, I say a solid colour resin, I mean an opaque resin, so we've added a pigment to it, or you could add glitter. Or you could just stir in some mica powders and you could have 2 or 3 coloured resins, pouring them in at the same time and see what that looks like. But I am now using a colour I haven't used before as the mica powder, and it's, I think it was slate blue. But this looks so much like a peacock purple to me, peacock purplish blue. You know, the whole effect of petrol and water like that. So again, same technique as the previous pot, applying the mica powder, giving it a really good burnishing it on there with the paintbrush, and then turning it upside down and giving it a good tap to get rid of any excess. But I love that. So again, beautiful colours, lovely green, just applying that to like the leaf part of this design. And then because it'd gone absolutely everywhere, that's the other thing to say, it's a little bit staticky, the mica powder on the moulds. So, you know, take a wet wipe and just wipe it off of where, if it's gone in places where you don't want it to go. So I used another colour of sort of purplish grey coloured mica powder. Do also make sure that you you brush over the surface of the inside, that bit that I'm just pushing down there now. And there we go, just turning it on inside out. Hopefully you can see sort of colours. This is more of a bluey, purpley sort of colour, which I love. Very much our colours, purples, pinks, blues, that sort of thing, with the old little touch of gold. And actually, shockingly enough, this video has no gold in it, which if you follow our videos, if you've liked, shared and subscribed, you'll know that I can't resist a little bit of gold. I can't resist it. But I did for this video. So this, I think, is this the final? This is the final lid. Went in with a lot of green actually, and now I'm just using some white and a little bit of the purple and some of the pink as well. There we go. Look at this, just a little bit of pink, why not? So I've used all the colours in this last one. So very much the pink tones and shades in the first one, the purpley blue shades in the second one, and in this last one, a little bit of everything in together. This is the final pot mould. Now this, I must admit, I wasn't too certain what the pattern was. So I thought, you know, let's just treat it like we're going to do a whole almost ombre-like effect with the mica powders, and we'll put a little bit of this here, a little bit of this there. You know, up to you what you decide to do. But yeah, looking with hindsight, yes, it probably is just a lotus flower, as in a side view or a cross section of it. So I'm just going around this bit now with a bit of white because I wanted to tone down the colour slightly. And then took the paler pink, took a bit of the green, took a bit of the slate blue, a bit of that lovely greyish mauve, a bit more of the dark pink and the greens, and just worked it into the whole of the mould. So can you see it here? Probably can't see it quite so well. Turned it inside out. Look at that. A whole, it gives a bit like on the outside of pearls, a luster sort of effect. So we're going for a bit of a luster glass-like effect. So like a luster glass, if you know what I mean by that. Now, also in this video, I thought, let's have a go at using this. Now, Resin has very kindly sent us this to trial. It's not a sponsored video. They just said, have a go at using it, see what you think, give us your honest opinion. Now, it is very comprehensive. All the instructions, read it fully. It also comes with a warranty card and a bit addressed to you, the valued customer. It's quite reasonably priced. There will be a link below for it. Unfortunately, we don't have a discount code, but this, I believe, is on offer at the moment. It's very good. You can either order direct from them or you can go via Amazon as well. Now, they've got two of these look like cogs at the top. One is for a fast speed and one for a slow. That's like, it's like a crank handle. That's the only way I can think of describing it. Does usually fit on quite well, although I struggled a little bit with this second one. And then it's got one on the side as well. So you can do that from the top or from the side, totally up to you. This is the paddle. It's silicone. It's flexible. It's got a rigid bit in the middle, but it is flexible. So you push this little extension part into it and then decide where you're going to put your crank handle. And can you see that? It just turns that paddle round. Very easy to use. It needs to be if I'm using it. Now, the only thing I would say is if you've got the extension bit for the paddle on it, you can't then use the flexible silicone jug or mixing jug that comes with it. It's too tall. But I am reliably informed that this will fit onto the top of most measuring cups or calibrated cups. But my only criticism would be that what they sent was lovely, that this flexible jug here, absolutely lovely to use, but it could really do with having a rigid one. Rigid would be better because if you've got dexterity issues, you're going to struggle. Now, I don't have dexterity issues, but I struggled a bit with getting this, as you can going to see now. I've put my resin. Oh, I was marking the side of the calibration of the cup there, so I knew where to pour part A up of my epoxy resin and where to pour part B up to. I had an issue trying to get this to stay on top. I stopped the filming and I got it to fix onto it. Once it's fixed, it's good, but you do have to hold it there. Now, this is just a side view. Can you see that? Can you just about see the paddle turning round? It does do a very good job of mixing and combining the part A and part B of your epoxy resin. It's great for that. However, the paddle doesn't go down to the bottom of the mixing cup. It doesn't go completely to the sides. So when you finish doing your mixing, and also it's very, very light. It's a simple movement with your hand. Obviously, if you've got dexterity issues, this probably isn't the right product for you. Although it's not difficult to use. If you do struggle, then I would recommend getting their battery or electric operated ones. Now, here we go. I'm just using a spatula that I've got to just take off most of the resin mix there. There we go. And then easy enough to clean up. There we go. I'm using one of the contractor's wipes that we've got. And there we go. Don't forget to stir around the edges and across the bottom just to incorporate the rest of the resin. Now, I really, really like this mixing jug. It's got it's two spouts. Can you see that at both sides? Now it is quite flexible. It is quite flexible. That's the only thing I would say. So bear that in mind when you're using it. So as I said before, bits have been sped up. I don't usually stir things quite this quickly. I've added in some of the white pigment paste there as well, just to make this lovely. I didn't want a clear resin. I didn't want to use black because I didn't want to make the colours dull. And I knew that when you've got pale pink flowers, you don't want to make them pinkish grey because you've used black resin. Although I know a lot of people with these kind of mica powders will use a black resin, but I didn't want to do that, so I've used white. So this is an opaque resin now going in. I poured a little bit just off the spatula into the top there. Now this is the lid. Gave it a good squidge to make sure that there were no air bubbles trapped, and then just using a little, this is a fine pointed cotton bud, that was, just to go around the edges, trying to get rid of air bubbles. Now spoiler alert, I did get a couple of little ones, even though, as you can see, I'm doing the best I can to ensure that there aren't any. The best I can. So just filling it up with the rest. Obviously you don't have to fill this up the way that I'm doing it, but I had a bit more control. This isn't a particularly large mould, and I did not want to spill resin everywhere. Right, I'm also put it on the honeycomb mat that came with the mixing tool from Resiners. So this is the base part. Now I've already poured a little bit in. I'm going to give it a good squidge. Again, this is just to ensure that we try and stop any little bubbles from getting trapped on the surface of the mould. And then just poured it in, a little bit more of a squidge. And then just topping it up, right up, almost to the top. There we go. A little bit of a squidge, a little bit of a tap, and then just around the edge there, trying to dispel any of those bubbles. We did exactly the same process with the other moulds that you can see me doing this now. As I said, it's just to try and make sure that we don't get any bubbles, because you don't want bubbles sticking to the sides of the mould or in other places in the detail of the mould, and then finding that they get trapped, and then when it's cured you've got a piece missing out of your cured item, your cured piece, whether it's the pot or the lid. With lids, if it's underneath, you can usually fill it with some UV resin. I've done that in the past. If you haven't seen those videos, there is a video where I've done it, and it was quite successful actually, but otherwise you've got to start from scratch again and make it again, and then hope you don't get any little bubbles again. There we go. There's no bubbles in the actual resin, it's bubbles that get trapped when you pour the resin into the mould. So just going around the underneath lip part there of the lid with a stir stick, that's a coffee stir stick, and then topping it back up and then round the rim part there. There we go. Final one coming up. Same process again. If you've joined us today for the premiere, hello. Hope you're enjoying this. Have you joined us in the live chat? Drop us a comment, say hi. Have you got these moulds? Have you seen our Temu haul? What would you do differently? Would you use eco resin rather than epoxy resin? What have your results been like? Now this is a bit of a bonus one. We hadn't intended on doing this tray. We haven't done it before. I had resin left over. I didn't want to waste it. So I thought I'm going to do this technique that I've seen another artist use. And you just literally pop your mica powders in, and then that particular person sprays alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. I've seen Wendy from Two Impatient Crafts do it, and Claire from Claire's Crafty Corner do it. So they inspired me. However, I didn't want to use the isopropyl alcohol, so I thought I'm going to do the technique I've done before and just get my brush and mix it all in and burnish it, really burnish it into the surface of the moulds. Don't forget to do the sides and the lip. Now I had way too much mica powder in here and I wasn't going to waste it. So there I am, tapping it into my leftover resin. So yes, this gave us a pale grey colour, not particularly pretty colour, but it didn't matter. I thought, I'm going to do it. Look at that. Poured it in. Nobody's going to see it at all, because it's not where all the detail's going to be. And then just round the edges with a coffee stir stick. Now, this is the following day. Now, these are a little bit soft still. I probably could have done with leaving it another sort of 12 hours or so, but I am impatient. So I am just trying to free the silicone mould here, which was a little bit tricky. This has been sped up as well. But here we go. And the lighting's a little bit funny, a little bit hazy. Quite strong sunlight coming through the windows on this particular morning. So there we go, just pulling it off. Doing the same thing with the base. They have cured really, really well. Just got a little bit of overspill there with some of the resin. So just freeing that up from the sides of the mould. Now, any of this additional like resin that's on the lip or on the underside of this pot, I will remove with an emery board, or I'll use a deburring tool that I've got. But look at this. Yes, can you see that little bit there? That is what I'm just going to take the sharpness off the edge. But look at this. Some of the mica powder could have done with being burnished on a bit better. But I love that. It is beautiful. Now look at that with the lid. So yes, you could get your gild paint and you could go in with the detail bits if you wanted to. But I decided not to. So here I am with the second one, just trying to demold the lid. And yep, because I have gloves on that are too big for me, it's a lot more difficult than it actually is. But I have to say, I really enjoyed making these. We have got a lot more videos to come where we're going to use a lot of the moulds that we got from the Temu haul, mainly using eco resin with those and some hand painted finishing flourishes to them. If you've seen the video, you'll know what I'm talking about, and I can't wait to do those. But look at the lid on this one. Oh my gosh, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Really, really love that one. I keep saying really. Apologies. Maybe a little bit obsessed with Let's Resin mica powders as well currently. Apologies again. So here we go, just demolding this one. So this was the one that had all of the colours of the mica powder in it. Wasn't very certain on what the pattern was on the outside. Got a little bit of finishing off to do there. Just take sharpness off that edge. But look at that. What, oh my gosh. It's beautiful. And yes, okay. Placement of the mica powder there could be better. But I wanted to give it a frosted pearlized glass look, which I actually think I've achieved. And look at that with the lid. It's beautiful. Yes, you could go in and you could do the detail on the flowers, but I decided not to. Final one coming up. As I said, if you've joined us today and you've not subscribed to our channel, why not hit the subscribe button, hit the like button and the notification all button. We upload twice a week currently, Friday and a Sunday, usually how-to videos, sometimes Temu haul videos, sometimes a bit of unboxing or a look what we've bought. We've decided I'd treat ourselves kind of video. Otherwise it's how-to and just showing you what we've made currently, giving you inspiration and ideas. Have a go yourself. And the links for everything that we use in our videos are in the description box below, along with any discount codes should we have any. Unfortunately, we don't have any of this, but Temu, where we got these molds from, are so, well, not cheap, but they've got such a good bargain with their prices for molds. But what I would say to you is make sure you read the dimensions of the mold before purchasing, like a lot of things, so you don't get disappointed when it arrives. There we go. Don't forget, it is free to subscribe to our channel. It's also, it really does help us out. We are very, very grateful for that. Help us grow our channel so that we can bring you more content. Look at that, with the slight peacock petrol blue, purpley mauve colours, little hints of green, and another gorgeous lid. Lovely. Really, really nice. A few, this isn't the final shot. I nearly said final shot. A few little shots here now. Look at that. These are the 3 pots. Now, these would look stunning in a bathroom, a dressing room, a dressing table. To be honest with you, depending on your colour theme that you use, they'd look good anywhere. Anywhere at all. Would look particularly good if you did them all white and had little gold accents or silver accents. There I go with the gold again. Now, I did demold this tray. I could have done with filling it up with probably about another 10 to 15 mils of resin. I did take the edge off of it and demolded it. Now, as you can see, it's come out beautifully. I love it. And I just thought I'd show you it with some of these on it. Here we go. A bit more of a close-up. Look at that. Really love that tray. Now, you could put a very thin coat of clear resin over the top of that just to seal in where the indent pattern is of that beautiful flower if you wanted to do it. Here we are now on the final shots. Thank you for sticking with us today, aware of the fact this has been over 20 minutes in length. But look at those pots. They are beautiful. It'll be very difficult to part with these, but if you're interested in purchasing them, why not drop us a direct message, and we'll let you know how much they would be, and postage and so on. Look at that. That's the tray. And we're just coming up to the final shot now. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you for watching, giving us like, share, subscribe. And we look forward to seeing you again next Friday for the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.